I would like us to look at the advantages of healthy cooking this time around. As the way food is handled, processed and packaged has come under strict scrutiny in recent times, because of several viral attacks that have resulted in scores of people being hospitalized, and even dying in some cases. Stocks have been taken off the shelves, businesses closed down pending investigations, which gives us more reasons to be more health conscious when handling food on the home front. This gives us more the reason to talk extensively about healthy cooking and proper food handling and storage at home. One of the hardest things to master in cooking is learning how to bake properly. Baking requires proper observance of hygiene standards, time, and patience. Try using these tips to help you learn either how to bake or make yourself a better baker. If you stick to these tips and practice them, you should be able to bake bread, cakes, and pastries with ease. When you are making mashed potatoes, the first thing to do is to wash your hands prior to any food handling. That is our golden rule. You need to be extra careful and make sure not to whip them for too long. While it might seem that mixing them for longer would make them smoother, it actually has the opposite effect. Doing so actually makes them come out gummy in texture. Stop guessing on the taste of your meatballs and loaves. Take your mixture of meat and seasonings and fry up a small hamburger so you can get a taste of how your meatloaf or meatballs will turn out. This way you can add more seasonings or tone them down by adding more meat. For easy low-fat cooking, make sure that you measure the oil that you use in your recipes. If you just pour it from the bottle, it is easy to accidentally include too much oil in the dish. By measuring it out, you are giving yourself much more control over how much oil you can use, which will help you to keep your dishes healthier. If you want to optimize the amount of juice that you get from a lime, put it in the microwave for 10 seconds. This will allow the liquid to flow easily when you cut the lime so that you can add this to your favorite meals. Use this trick anytime you serve a lemon or lime. You should cook chicken stew if you need to make a quick meal. Take a carton of chicken broth and put it in a large stock pot. Add cooked shredded chicken, diced potatoes, carrots, green beans and onions to the pot. Season to taste and cook for 3 hours on low. It is a tasty meal that does not take a lot of work. When cooking, make sure that you never put anything metal in the microwave, as it will cause sparks given the electromagnetic energy. Always make sure that the items you are microwaving are safe to put in there. This will help to increase your level of safety when you are in the kitchen. After draining boiled potatoes but before mashing them, place a lid on the hot pot and let the potatoes steam this way for 5 minutes. This allows excess water to evaporate, and the potatoes will have a better texture because they will soak up the milk and butter more effectively. Use a tried and tested recipe when entertaining. When you have guests over for a meal, always prepare something tasty that you have made before. This is not the time to test a new recipe, as it could turn out to be a disaster. Also, remember to find out if your guests have any dietary requirements or allergies, or if they simply don't like a certain kind of food. This will ensure that your evening is a success. Make sure that if you are planning a party with friends and family, to have each course planned out in advance. You should have an appetizer course, salad course, main dish, and dessert. Breaking your meal into courses will give people a chance to digest and appreciate what you have cooked for them. Although there are many intricacies to baking, using these tips should allow you to become an excellent baker. There is no doubt that baking is a difficult cooking skill to master. So take your time, and do not be discouraged by minor setbacks. Practice these tips, and eventually you will get it perfect. It is not enough that good and proper food material be provided, it must have such preparation as will increase and not diminish its alimentary value. The unwholesomeness of food is quite as often due to bad cookery as to the improper selection of material. Proper cookery renders good food material more digestible. When scientifically done, cooking changes each of the food elements, with the exception of fats, in much the same manner as do the digestive juices. And at the same time it breaks up the food by dissolving the soluble portions, so that its elements are more readily acted upon by the digestive fluids. Cookery, however, often fails to attain the desired end, and the best material is rendered useless and unwholesome by an improper preparation. It is rare to find a table, some portion of the food upon which is not rendered unwholesome either by improper preparatory treatment or by the addition of some deleterious substance. This is doubtless due to the fact that the preparation of food being such a commonplace matter, its important relations to health, mind, and body have been overlooked, and it has been regarded as a menial service which might be undertaken with little or no preparation, and without attention to matters other than those which relate to the pleasure of the eye and the palate. With taste only as a criterion, it is so easy to disguise the results of careless and improper cookery of food by the use of flavors and condiments, as well as to palm off upon the digestive organs all sorts of inferior material, that poor cookery has come to be the rule rather than the exception. Methods of cooking. Cookery is the art of preparing food for the table by dressing, or by the application of heat in some manner. A proper source of heat having been secured, the next step is to apply it to the food in some manner. The principal methods commonly employed are roasting, broiling, baking, boiling, stewing, simmering, steaming, and frying. Roasting is cooking food in its own juices before an open fire. Broiling, or grilling, is cooking by radiant heat. This method is only adapted to thin pieces of food with a considerable amount of surface. Larger and more compact foods should be roasted or baked. Roasting and broiling are allied in principle. In both, the work is chiefly done by the radiation of heat directly upon the surface of the food, although some heat is communicated by the hot air surrounding the food. The intense heat applied to the food soon sears its outer surfaces, and thus prevents the escape of its juices. If care be taken frequently to turn the food so that its entire surface will be thus acted upon, the interior of the mass is cooked by its own juices. Baking is the cooking of food by dry heat in a closed oven. Only foods containing a considerable degree of moisture are adapted for cooking by this method. The hot, dry air which fills the oven is always thirsting for moisture, and will take from every moist substance to which it has accessed a quantity of water proportionate to its degree of heat. Foods containing but a small amount of moisture, unless protected in some manner from the action of the heated air, or in some way supplied with moisture during the cooking process, come from the oven dry, hard, and unpalatable. Lastly, but by no means the least, take care that your baking arsenal does not sabotage your efforts at the most critical moment. Make sure you have the right bakeware for your style in the description below. And stay blessed.